Welcome. You're listening to Coffee Break with Purdue Engineering, a podcast production from the Office of Future Engineers at Purdue University. In this podcast series, we discuss the many programs, majors, and opportunities found in Purdue Engineering through conversational interviews with staff, faculty, alumni, and current students. We hope you enjoy our show and it helps answer some of your questions about what it's like to be an engineering student at Purdue. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee Break with Purdue Engineering. Today, we're joined by a lovely guest. We'll have her introduce herself a little bit later. But, Brian, did we have an alumni to feature this week?
Yes, this week we're going to be featuring A.B. Lemert, and she is one of Purdue's 38 by 38 recipients. This is an award that is awarded by the College of Engineering, and it recognizes 38 young alumni who have rocketed through the ranks and left their mark by the time they are only 38 years old. So, a little about Abby's time here at Purdue. She was the first ever Purdue engineering graduate to study at Yale Law School, and when she was at Purdue, she studied multidisciplinary engineering. And then after her time at Purdue, she went to Yale. She co-founded the Tech Accountability and Competition Project, which is a clinic operated by faculty and students as a small pro bono law firm working on real-life lawsuits and legislation. Within its first 18 months of being open, the clinic drafted a bill of the California Assembly to protect children against social media addiction and many other accomplishments. So she's done a good amount of work by the time she's only 38.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And
have you heard of Abby before, Carla?
I was trying to remember if I had interacted with her. Being 38, probably I might have while she's here. So, yeah.
And then after she graduated from Yale, she returned to Indiana to work as a law clerk for Judge David Hamilton of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, and she ultimately hopes to contribute to tech accountability law and policy as a clinical law professor, litigator, and civil servant.
Wow, super cool.
Yeah.
Very accomplished career as
Yes.
she's only 38.
I know.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that this really highlights another way that Purdue engineers can have an impact, like with the public policy, doing into, really thinking about that. There's actually a new certificate that might be introduced. It's going through approval process right now.
Oh, wow.
So innovation in public policy. So
Oh,
there's actually this work actually really aligns with some of that.
Yeah, because I remember when I was first coming to Purdue, I had no clue what multidisciplinary engineering was. I had no clue it was a thing. And even when I saw it, I just kind of let it fly over my head for a little bit until I worked here and I got a little better understanding of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the really cool things that I read that she said was the largest leaps are never the work of one person, and I mean that holds true in engineering here at Purdue. I'm senior design right now, and I never would have been able to accomplish the project without the rest of the team or the numerous amount of support from the course staff. And engineering is just a team sport now. Purdue really seeks to make it collaborative, and that's one of the things the VIP program, or vertically integrated project, actually works toward as well. This week we're going to be discussing the VIP program, and I'm one of your hosts, Calvin Given, a current senior in electrical engineering from Lakewood, Colorado, who is going to go on to a +1 master's degree after this.
Yes, and my name is Brian Akinmade. I'm a sophomore in electrical engineering from Miami, Florida. And on campus, I'm involved with NESB, MEP, and I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And this week, we are joined by Dr. Carla Zoltowski, the Associate Professor of Engineering Practice for ECE and the Director of the VIP program here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Do you want to introduce yourself, say a little bit about what you're involved in, or
Yes.
what you do for the College of Engineering?
Yeah, so I'm actually a 3-time Purdue grad, first-generation student, came to Purdue, loved learning, and decided to stay. Met my husband here, and so, we've stayed here in the community. So I really had worked. I was actually a co-director of EPICS previously, and then the opportunity really came up for VIP, and so I am now director of the VIP program. It began here at Purdue a long time ago in 2001, but we actually became a formal program in the College of Engineering in 2019. So,
Awesome.
Yep.
And what exactly is the VIP program? What's kind of its goals and missions?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of, when you talked about collaboration, it really is an opportunity, a program to allow and provide opportunities for students to engage in long-term projects related to faculty research or student competition or industry-sponsored projects. So they're authentic projects, so you really get an opportunity to find out about the messiness, and they're long-term. So you get to experience longer-term, kind of see the whole research cycle or design process over multiple semesters. As you know, in senior design, when you try it's really unrealistic to try and smash the design process. There's a lot of design decisions that you make that are, because it has to be done in a certain amount of time, that really don't allow you to experience and evaluate all the criteria that are really important.
Yeah.
The other thing about VIP is that it's multidisciplinary and vertically integrated. So you get an opportunity to work with students, other colleagues throughout the college and throughout the university. So it's not, we're centered in engineering, but our projects really span multiple disciplines. The other part is getting the opportunity to be mentored by graduate students and faculty. This is a chance. Often, you might be in classes where you don't get a lot of interaction. You learn from the faculty member, but there's not as much. Here you're mentored on a research project or a design project really related to the faculty research. So you get a lot of interaction from the graduate students and the faculty associated with that project.
How big do these teams how big are teams normally?
They really vary quite a bit. We have some teams that are 4 students, and we have some teams like the Socket, the System on Chip, which they have nearly 200 students.
Oh, wow.
Now they're broken up into all these subdivisions. Like it's almost a small company, but really it isn't. It really varies, and that's the thing. It is driven by the need of the project or the opportunity of the project. We don't necessarily say it has to be a certain number, and so it really depends on that.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah, I unfortunately never got to take advantage of the VIP program, but I know that the vertically integrated side of that, being able to just learn, even as a freshman, which I know Brian can attest to in Epics, being an upperclassman, the one that made him kind of choose electrical engineering. But also even just as a sophomore or junior, learning from anyone above you can provide valuable insight and just be a really good experience to try to figure out where exactly you want to take the degree and what you want to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the part that really is the magic. And one of the faculty members that started Epics actually started VIP. So the models are very similar. It's just the context of the projects are different. So both programs are amazing. And actually, I'm interim director of Epics as well right now. So Purdue is amazing to have, these opportunities between, and we also have teams in Indianapolis. So, we have about 2,000 students who are on Epics or VIP teams right now on about 140 different projects. Wow. So it really spans all different interest areas. There are really chances to really do a project and apply what you're learning in your classes to do the, on a project that's going to make a difference. It's either going to be delivered to the community, or you're contributing to research, the knowledge generation. You're really making a difference in the work that you're doing. This is just not a project that gets put on the shelf or thrown away after the semester. It is something, we've had teams commercialize some of the things that they've done, that it's really, because that was the best path to have an impact on the work that, in the world, by, building on the Epics or in particular, or VIP
That's
projects.
amazing.
Wow.
And how are students able to kind of get involved with VIP? Like, and is there a big difference for like first years trying to get involved, and then I guess upperclassmen?
Yeah, absolutely. So first year students participate as part of a learning community. So, and that there's a benefit to doing that as well. You are with other students that you can kind of get community. You're not the only first year student on a team. So we really do try and make sure that we have students, that you have support and community kind of across that. It can be a little intimidating. You're walking into a project that a PhD student is doing. It can be a little intimidating, but the opportunity to learn is absolutely amazing. So we balance that by having students be part of a learning community if they're first year students. VIP, we really have a few extra spots open for students who are not part of the learning community, but really we have almost 250 first year students in VIP.
Oh, wow.
So we really do kind of prioritize and kind of make sure the students are in a learning community for that. But it is not a first year program. It really was started for like seniors and juniors, and we've slowly over time built the vertical integration to include sophomores and first year students in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have over 100 students in VIP this semester here in West Lafayette, another 120 in Indianapolis.
Oh.
And they're on around, I think we have about 70 teams between the two locations, doing all different kinds of things. For sophomores, juniors, and seniors, you can just register. And actually in ECE, we count for senior design. So you can do VIP for senior design. So each of the majors decides how it counts. And so, but you can just register. And this is the thing that I think is really important too when we think about research projects. You know, often the advice will be, and there are so many great opportunities, and I really don't want to say that you should do one versus the other, but in VIP, you can participate in a research project by basically enrolling, registering for the course.
Yeah.
You don't have to go knock on a faculty member's door, do all of that.
Or send them cold emails.
Yeah, like all of that's
where
really
50% of them don't really respond because they're really busy people.
Yes. And so, this really builds in that opportunity to, and then you can, what I love about VIP is that you can then build on other opportunities.
Yeah.
Then you might be able to get that one-off, do the summer research, surf program and REU, go do research with someone else. You can really start building on. But this is a starting point that allows you to really get some great experience and be able to then build on, provide the opportunity for you to build on that.
Yeah.
So
that is amazing to get research like that, because I have a friend, he was doing his first year. He had to do cold emails, and he just kept cold emailing. He ended up, fortunately for him, getting the opportunity to research, but it was such a hassle for him.
Yeah. No, and I really want, this is a great experience. It can really gain valuable skills. So trying to make it as accessible, and taking the mindset too that you don't have to know all of these things, that this is a way for you to be able to learn the things to enable to learn more. So it's not, we don't require resumes.
Yeah.
It really is like a willingness to learn.
Yeah.
There might be a few kind of prerequisite skills that might be helpful for you to be successful. We want to balance, if it's a really a team that's really focused on coding, we want to make sure you have a little bit of experience so that you can be successful, but not this, only resume or GPA or those kinds of things, as a requirement for VIP.
Yeah, I bet that helps. That helps a lot of students out and stuff. And what would you say are like the specific like technical and professional skills students are able to get out of VIP?
I mean, it really depends on the team itself. We really want it to align with the students' interests. I think broadly professional skills is are, learning to work on a team, learning to kind of collaborate. It can be some leadership part, project management. How do you make sure you're going to achieve your goal by the end of the semester, like in managing and thinking about that. You can gain a lot of the VIP teams are working on kind of cutting edge, technical areas. So students have been able to get access to technical skills or technologies in a VIP project before there's been classes. So now there's AI and ML, classes, for example. Before there were all of those classes that were available for students. We had VIP teams doing work in that area because that's where the faculty were doing it. Yep. So we're really in that cutting edge area, but it really is the broad, working, recognizing expertise of different disciplines and different kind of areas. For example, that you can at least be aware. You don't have to be the expert in everything, but know that there are other people that you need on your project to be successful. So almost all research and the projects that we're doing are multidisciplinary. So we really get students from all over. So
yeah, the cutting edge aspect of research is one of the coolest things I think about it. I've been doing research with professors. I got my research through cold emailing. I definitely had to email a few of them, but they respond. Some of them respond eventually. Yeah. You just got to keep bugging them. But yeah, being on the cutting edge of things where like I was working on, I know there's a VIP team associated with it, the F-110th autonomous racing.
Yes.
I was working with the professor who heads up that, and it's really cool to be doing something that kind of no one else in the world is doing, and that's the thing with research. These research labs they aren't just doing the same thing in a different way or doing just the same thing. They're really on that. They're pushing the boundaries of what we have done and what we can do. And it's really cool to be able to be a part of that as an undergrad, even as a freshman, day one that you step on campus.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. It's amazing that these opportunities are here just on our campus.
Yeah. I mean, I think Purdue really stands out in opportunities for experiential learning. Absolutely. And there's so many, but what I do love about VIP is that opportunity to be part of research and the mentoring that goes on with the faculty members and the graduate students, as well for that.
When you say mentoring, are you talking like, okay, let's get you onboarded with the project and then give you some things to work on? Or are you talking more like professional development or preparing for grad school maybe, or internships?
All of those, yes. I mean, so part of it is sharing also the technical knowledge, like how would you approach this research problem? I mean, it's good if we say, there's a balance of what would you do, but also being able to benefit from the expertise of the faculty mentors. So it really is some of the technical mentorship on the project, but we often are having conversations with students about going on to graduate school, encouraging them to participate in that, career choices. I mean, we also are professional mentors as well. And they also benefit from the mentorship of their teammates since it's vertically integrated. Yep. Finding out the seniors, what advice would you give to other students who are now in that, kind of, if you could go back, this is what you do, or helping to just kind of be a sounding board for some of the decision making, I think can be really great.
And I bet that just helps students, especially in first year engineering, and if they're like confused on what major they want to go into. I feel like that can only help them so much.
Absolutely.
That just like skyrockets the decisions. It helped me just being in Epic, so I couldn't imagine that with teams that are filled of a bunch of different age groups and different like majors students in.
No, I mean, that's part of the goal and really what we wanted to be able to achieve by because we did not have first-year students in VIP initially, but really being able to provide that opportunity, because I think that's where it starts. Yeah. And if you can get that chance and experience VIP, be part of a team as a first year, it really opens up doors. It gives you And also maybe even see there are multiple pathways to achieving your goal, because often you might come in and think, oh, I only have this one pathway to what I want to be able to do. But realizing and interacting with different people that you could see, oh, there are people from all over working on this same kind of project that I'm interested in. There's a little bit of different focus, but there are multiple ways. And it goes beyond major. Major is important, but it really is where do you want to have impact? Where do you want to be working? And, what are the different ways that I can, get there?
Yeah, on the major side of things, we definitely get a lot of people who want to go work for NASA, SpaceX, who are like, okay, I'm going to aerospace engineering. And then they realize, oh, there's actually so many other majors, almost every single other major that also works on that aerospace side of things. Whether it's, I think actually NASA hires more of us as electrical engineers than they do actual aerospace engineers.
Yeah.
So there's so many different ways to get to the same end goal.
Right. And I think working on a project can help you realize that. I mean, I think all of these things together are important, but it really, and then you gain that experience. So, when you are going to apply for a co-op or an internship, you have experience that you can talk about and really be able, because, it's one thing to say, oh, I got an A in this course, or I got this grade in this course, but when you really, work requires you to work with other people. You're working through some of the issues of, how do you balance workload? How do you manage a project so that people are all able to contribute to that? So, and then eventually it also, I think, really provides opportunities if you're interested in grad school to be able to talk about a research project that, like, again, anytime you can reference the experience, authentic experience you've had, it's going to be really helpful. And help you get that job or be able the grad school application as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that the grad school, I know that it definitely helps with that. When you're looking at applying to grad schools, they really want to see some kind of research experience as an undergrad.
Yeah. And
having it be so easy to get involved in at Purdue can give you a leg up on those applications for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's been cool. I've had a lot of first-year students who didn't even think about research or even graduate school. And I know first year, like, I got to get here. I've just got to get through my first year. But getting that experience really helps, like, in the first year, to be able to open up and see what other opportunities and career paths and things like that.
I think that, like, kind of, like, simulates for me. Like, I had no idea what research was. I actually still haven't done research, but, like, I hear so many benefits from it. It's something where it's like, okay, now it's something I know I want to do. I have to do here while I'm at Purdue. Like, I can't miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah. And I think, one of the interesting things that I thought about too is, we spend a lot of time learning, which is really important. Yeah. But as you transition into the world, you need to be contributing to knowledge and contributing to projects. So when you're doing, like, research, it starts to change the way you're thinking about it. As yes, you're learning and you're benefiting, but you start to become then the contributor, and you're generating knowledge and you're making a difference in the world that way. So I think learning those skills through the research projects are really important. And, so there's not too late to enroll for VIP. So.
I guess, you've talked about the faculty mentoring, which is great. Are there certain lab spaces or other resources that students have access to as a part of the VIP program?
Yeah, many of the projects are, they'll meet and do their project work in the faculty labs. So that really is primary. We don't have as much of a specific, we have a small lab space, but because we really use leverage and utilize, and because the projects are really situated in the faculty labs, a lot of the work is done there. We do have some kind of collaborative space over in the BHEE building, where students can meet, teams can meet, because a lot of the the way VIP is structured is often the scheduled time is maybe the time that you are presenting to your faculty mentor, the progress that you've made, but then you're doing work with your teammates, your sub-project outside of that. So we have space that facilitates that. We do have a little bit of lab equipment and things like that, access to some computing resources for those who are doing a lot of the AI/ML work and things like that. So we really kind of connect into the infrastructure and the resources that Purdue has more broadly. We do have some that are dedicated to VIP, but it really is how do we integrate and support engagement in everything that we do. Students use Bechtel, they use, a lot of the different, some of the ECE, resources as well. So.
And how much time do they have within like the scheduled time they meet during the week?
It really depends on the how the team is structured. Often we only schedule 1 hour per week for the lab meeting time. And then students will spend time outside of that. They'll schedule that with their sub-projects. First year students typically take VIP for 1 credit hour. So the expectation is you're working, 3 to 5 hours per week. Everybody, sophomores, juniors, seniors, register for 2 credit hours. And then that way you're a little bit more, have some more time to devote to the project and can actually move it forward. It's hard to make progress with only 3 to 5 hours per week. Fortunately, first year students are part of a team where there's not just you by yourself. You're working with
3 to
other
5 hours
times
like 10 people.
Can
can make a difference.
Right, absolutely. So.
Yeah. I remember my Epics teams, that's how it kind of was. We always had to work outside the lab more than we were working inside the lab. It was more of like a presenting phase inside the lab.
Yeah, we did have a couple of teams that are doing like the CubeSat development, and it's one of these NASA projects where they were actually responding to a NASA challenge. They do we scheduled their time so that we can make sure the students had access to the lab together. Awesome. So it really depends on the project and what are the needs. If you the semiconductors, we have quite a few students who are doing the semiconductors at Burke, and so they need access to the clean room and the resources there. So that is more scheduled too. So it's a balance, and it really just depends on the team. I would encourage anybody who's interested to go to the VIP website, and you can actually search the teams and filter on interest areas. But then also click on that because it'll say about what prerequisite skills you would need to be successful on the team. If first year students who are coming into Purdue are interested and get assigned to would encourage to apply for the learning community, the VIP learning community. If you get assigned to the VIP learning community, then we will send out a survey to help you get assigned to the team that you want. Awesome. So we don't randomly assign you. We as much as possible try and assign you to a team that you're interested in, and then of course work to make sure it works with your schedule. It is also possible to be part of the Women in Engineering learning community and the MAP learning community along with VIP.
Okay.
So you can do those two together. So
that's awesome. And then you said there's about 70 total teams and projects, right?
Yeah, between here and Indianapolis. Yeah.
What's the longevity for these projects? Like, how often do they get completed? Do they get passed down to different teams? How does that look like?
Yeah. So many of them have gone on for multiple years, and I think the longest one that I was trying to find is actually Earth history visualization, and so they're developing a model so that geologists can actually, if they want to create a visualization of what the Earth looked like during this time, they actually can use this tool. And they presented this work all over the world. So that's one of the longest going projects that we've had. Many, span multiple years. I think we've been doing the image processing analysis for 8 years. Oh, wow. But the projects can shift, and I think that's the good thing about this is like the research area. It's we're doing image processing, kind of projects, object detection, lane detection, cancer, identifying tumors and brain MRIs, a whole bunch of different things. And those have kind of shifted over time, and the technologies, the architectures they're using has shifted as new ones get developed.
Yeah.
So, we kind of have a kind of general project. The same with some of the research projects. They might go 2 or 3 years. A typical might be research project that a faculty might get funding for 3 to 5 years. So it might be, that might shift too as the needs shift, or the project change. But, we've had several faculty who've been involved multiple years, if not almost a decade, more than a decade now. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I've definitely found that to be the case with the research groups, where the overall mission and the goals stay the same and stay constant, but the exact or specific focus can vary within that overall parameter.
Right.
Like the research I'm doing right now is focused on brain imaging, and but the current trajectory of the project is towards imaging disease progression through protein aggregation and fluorophores attached to those.
Very cool. Yeah, no, and so and we have to be responsive as faculty members. New technologies, things change.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to be, and I think learning that flexibility is important too, to be able to pivot if needed. For based on what's all going on.
Yeah. Did you have anything else, Calvin?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you so much, Carla, for your insights. We really enjoyed it, and we thank you for coming on the show. And I guess our last question is, what is the most unique or exciting VIP products that you have seen over the years?
That is a good question, and I really struggled with
probably so many.
There's so many that are so cool. I will just say one of the really kind of interesting ones recently is a collaboration between, incorporating AI into dance. So they've actually incorporated technology and AI into the choreography that they're doing. So this has been a really fun, interesting collaboration that we've had, and just really seeing all of the ways that we've really been able to do that. But what really stands out are those little moments where individuals themselves have recognized, I really want to do research, or this is a light bulb that's gone off in their head, gone on, I guess, in their head that, where they're like, oh my gosh, this is something that I'm like watching students learn about things and, really be inspired. Those are the things that stand out to me versus I love technology. I love all the cool projects, but it's really I think the impact on the students and seeing all of those light bulbs, go on there are really the things that, have really stand out to me about for VIP.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the benefits of the program as well. Well, that concludes this week's episode. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, please reach out to the Office of Future Engineers or the VIP program if you have any questions. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.